Hey everyone, Gordon Chesapeake here. Welcome back to the channel. So this video we're gonna talk about theming your app. So far we've added Expo Router and also NativeWind to enable Tailwind CSS styling, and at this point I guess this is time to kind of see how we can add different themes to the app. I have done a lot of research in the past week or so, and I think what I'm about to show you guys is the best way at this point in 2024 with the latest versions of all the libraries and whatever is out there. This is the best and easiest way to theme your app. We're going to talk about dark theme, light theme, and also allowing people to just default to the original theme of their device. So with that, let's get started. So for this whole theming thing, we're gonna look at different documentation. We're gonna start with the color themes documentation of Expo, and then we'll move on to the next step. So I will have links to all these doc pages in the description box below this video, and so you can go ahead and access them using those links. Also, as for the code here, my starting point is the code that we had at the end of the previous video where we set up the Expo router, and we had already set up NativeWind and TypeScript for our Expo project. So I also put a link to that video in case you're interested to see that. But this is the starting point here. We have our app directory, and the layout tsx file is the starting point for this whole application. So let's follow this color themes documentation here. The main thing that we need to do is to make sure that the user interface style in the app.json file is set to automatic. So that's because we want to make sure that this follows the system appearance settings, because we're going to give the users options to either select the light theme or dark theme, or just default to whatever the device's theme is. So this is what we do here, and then the next thing we need to do is we need to check our configuration here. So for that we are going to run this little command here in our project directory. So I have that here, and then you'll see a whole bunch of things. You scroll all the way up to the very first line there, and if you see this Android user interface style, this error warning that they also mention here, you need to install this Expo system UI, and they have the documentation right here. So I'm going to click on this and then copy this npx expo install command, and then I'm going to install that right here. So once that is done, we should be good. We don't need to do anything else for that. We could try and run the same command here again. So the expo config introspect over here, and then if I again scroll all the way back up, I should not see that warning. So let's find the first line right here. Yeah, so I don't see that warning anymore, so we are set. Now this was the very first step using the Expo docs, and now we're gonna move to the next step. Alright, so the next step is to use theming using the React navigation. Since we are using the Expo router, and Expo router is basically a wrapper around React navigation, we could take advantage of the default theming provided by the React navigation. So again, this link over here, I'll put it in the description box below this video, but basically you can see that every theme gives you either it's dark theme or not, so boolean, and then there are like different colors that we can look at in a little bit. We can define our own theme, but we also have these built-in themes that default theme and a dark theme that we're going to actually start using right now. So I'm going to grab this code, and then since we already have Expo Router and everything installed, I'm going to go inside my layout.tsx right under app. This is the entry point for the whole application, where we have defined our drawer navigation. And over here I'm going to bring that code, and then one of the other things that actually this React navigation provides is a theme provider, and that's something we're gonna also bring in, and then we are going to use this theme provider, basically wrap the whole application with that. And then there is this value prop for the theme provider that we are going to use, and then that value prop can take one of these default or dark theme. So let's move these around, make sure our code is fine. And then now here, for example, I can do default theme. So default theme is actually what's already there. So if I go and do npx expo start, and I'm going to do -c to clear cache, and right here I have a simulator ready to go, and so I'm going to do iOS, and it's going to open the app for me. Now this is the default theme that even without this whole theme provider that was being applied. So the colors for these navigation titles, for the different screen titles over here, this is all coming from the React navigation built-in theme. So if I, for example, change this to dark theme right now, you will see that the whole thing basically changed. So we have now new colors here, and the kind of like even the screen color has changed, this background over here, and obviously we don't see the text that we had here. That's the next part that we're gonna look into, but this is how the whole theming in the React navigation affects your app. So I'm going to revert it back to default theme so that you can actually see, yes, we had this text over here and also in the profile screen. Now there is this function or method from React Native, use color scheme, that we can actually use to get the color scheme of the device, and then we can have like radio buttons so that like users, if they click on dark or light or system, for example, theme, it will switch between them using this use color scheme. But actually NativeWind in their themes, they also have the same function or method, use color scheme, and we're gonna use that for here because it gives us some more utility functions that we will be using throughout the app. So what I'm gonna do is actually I'm going to grab that and bring it here, use color scheme from, again, NativeWind, and then in this theme provider, well, basically what we're going to do is we are going to use this use color scheme method and grab the set color scheme and color scheme from this. And you can actually, if you hover over it, you can see it has set color scheme, toggle color scheme, and then the color scheme, which is either light, dark, or undefined. So using this color scheme, we can have for example a condition here. If color scheme is equal to dark, I want to have my dark theme, otherwise I will have my default theme. So that's what we have here, dark theme or default theme. So right now I saved it. Now let's refresh this just to make sure So this is right now showing dark theme, and we're gonna go and check out what the theme of the app the device currently is. And if we go to the developer setting, we already see that this was set to dark theme. And if I switch this back to light theme and go back to the app, you'll see that it will switch to the default theme, which is the light theme. Now, since we are using simulator, there is a shortcut, Command Shift and A, to kind of switch between the different between dark and light theme of the device, and you can just test it using that. But normally, if you're working on a real device, you're gonna have to go to the settings and then find the appearance or like display settings, something like that, and then switch back and forth between the two. So that's fine. This is good, but what we actually want is to be able to click on like radio buttons or give the user the opportunity to switch between the themes or set up a theme that they like. Before we go there though, I want to go back to the React navigation over here. We did see that we can actually customize this theme, any theme that we want to have different colors. So for that, I'm not going to touch the dark theme. I will be changing the default theme right now. I'm going to basically define my light theme. To do that, I will just create this utilities folder, and in there I'm going to create a new file, and I'll call it, let's say, theme options for me .ts. So in this file you can have multiple theme options. Like I said, right now I'm just going to define a light theme here. I call it my light theme, and then obviously the dark should be false because this is my light theme, and then the colors is what have been described here. Like for example, primary color is the what that's used to tint various elements, and so on and so forth. So I've just like assigned some colors here, and then so remember, if we go well, this is our light theme, so just look at the colors that we have here, kind of like bluish, and then the dark text over here. And so if I save this and then go and use that instead of the default theme that we had, because the default theme was the light theme for the app. So I grab my light theme, and then if I switch that, you'll see, for example, I had a new border color here of blue, and that's right here. Now we can see those borders. And then the text, I have kind of like this dark red for the primary color, and so you can see those also there. So if, for example, I change the border to, let's say, green color, you'll notice that this changes. So you can play with these different colors, and then that will affect everything related to the navigation or Expo Router part of your app. We are still not changing anything in the actual screens, because that's the part that we set up with NativeWind and TailWind CSS, and that's something that we'll look at after a little bit. But right now, again, look at these colors. See, for example, background, card text, border, notification. Those are the things that you can change, or if you need, you can actually add new colors here as well. So for example, let's say you want to add my primary button here, for example, primary button, and then you give it a color, and then you'll be able to use that in your app. And again, I'll get back to this a little bit later. Right now, what I'm just showing you, these are the default colors that come with the app and are already applied to different section of the Expo Router. Alright, so far we are able to change the theme using just going to the settings and changing between the dark and light appearance, but at this point we want to actually add some radio buttons so that people can like click and select whether they want dark theme or light theme, or just default to the system theme for that. So let's go back to light theme for now, and we're gonna use React Native Elements right now for this to get the checkboxes on the page. You can use whatever you want, so this is just what I'm going to use. And obviously it makes more sense if you have those in the settings page, but right now I'm just gonna put those radio buttons in the profile page so that it's easier to switch between these bottom tabs and see the changes. So for this React Native Elements, I'm going to install the package. So in this page we have the installation guide, so I'm going to install theme base from the React Native Elements, and then there are a couple more steps here. The first one, installing the vector icons, we don't need to do that because we're using Expo and it's already there. And the second one is installing the React Native safe area context, and we already have that because that was part of the NativeWind setup. So we already have the package over here, so we're good there as well. So we don't need to do anything else here. I'm going to look for the checkbox element from this React Native element library, and we are going to use the radio button here. So you can see the code that we need to have a state value so that we keep track of which one of these radio buttons are selected. So I'm going to first of all bring this checkbox, import checkbox in my, like I said, I'm going to do it in the profile tab. So that is under my tabs profile over here. So I'm going to bring the checkbox import over here, and then I do need to also bring in a use state to keep track of which item is selected. So right now, as you can see, I'm assigning a string to this. So if it's, for example, light mode or dark mode or system mode, so that's originally we are assigning light to it. And then for the checkboxes, I'm going to use a similar code as here. So we have different checkbox elements here. So I am going to bring them over, and then so for as you can see here, each of these have like a checked prop and then on press and so on and so forth. But we have also title, that what's gonna be shown next to these toggle the radio buttons. And so we have the light, dark, and system. I'll show you in a minute. The toggle color scheme, actually right now it's just going to be a very simple set selected index. Basically right now I will have the theme value as string as well, because that's what we have here. It's either light or dark or system, and we'll make a little bit of a change to that later. But right now we only have this set selected index here, but we'll have more to this later on. That's why I don't have it inline here. I have it as a separate function over here. So if I save this and then go back to the app, you'll see that we have light, dark, and system over here. So as I switch, you can see that this is at this point just like setting the selected index to the corresponding theme. It's not doing anything right now, so that's the only thing we are doing. To be able to assign the theme, the selection here to the actual theme of the application, we are going to again use the use color scheme from NativeWind. And if you remember, this has some good utility functions that we can use. One of them over here, I'm bringing that here, is a set color scheme. And so as we change this radio buttons over here to assign the theme that we like, we can also set the color scheme to the selected theme value. And there's a problem here though, that set color scheme is expecting just these 3 values over here. However, this theme value, as we've seen up here, it's just a string, or here it's just a string value. So we need to kind of define a new type, and to do that I'm going to create a new file over here in my utilities. I'll just have a general name of types.ts, and that is where we keep track of this theme options, which are light, dark, and system. And then I can actually use that instead of the string that we have here for both here for the state and also the theme value. So these are going to be our theme options, and with that we're going to get rid of that error, because the theme value is also a theme option, which is light, dark, or system, and that's what the set color scheme is expecting. So if I'm going to save this right now and then just a quick reload up the app over here, going to profile, if I switch to dark, you see that the whole theme will change to dark. And then the system right now is set to light, but if I do Command Shift A as a shortcut to switch theme, you can see it will go back to light and dark as we switch the theme of the entire device. So this color scheme or set color scheme, it's kind of looking at the device theme. So this is very important, just keep that in mind. We'll get back to that later. And like I said, mentioned it previously briefly, if you keep doing this color theme change, I'm just doing like Command Shift A multiple times, it gets a little slow. As you saw here, it took a while, but there is actually an issue in NativeWind GitHub repo that they have, and someone has actually mentioned it. But the point is that when your users are on the app, they probably won't be like playing with these. They're gonna just set a, for example, dark theme or light theme, and then they will be fine. Like and who knows, maybe by the time you're watching this video that this issue has been resolved, and you won't see this delay that I see right now anymore. So don't worry about that. And the other thing that I want to point out is that the status bar over here is kind of looking at the theme of the device, and it gets updated automatically. So if I go to light mode, it goes to kind of like dark, and then dark mode it will switch to the like light color up here, as you see over here. And so that is being handled automatically for us, which is super helpful. Alright, so we just implemented a way to switch between the themes, give the user the option to switch between the themes in the app. But we still have a problem, because if I go to dark mode, you'll see that like the text doesn't really update here in the screen, and if I go back to light theme, you will see that there's actually a text here. So we're gonna need to fix that as well. The thing to know, to remember about this is that the text theme or like the styling is coming from the NativeWind and classes that we have assigned. For example, for this tab dashboard, we have a text, nothing really class name assigned to this, but it's going to use the default color, which is this dark color for no matter what themes, because we are not telling this actually to switch between the colors when the theme switches or anything like that. So to address that, we are going to actually do a couple of things with the CSS file that we have, the global CSS file over right here that we added when we were setting up the NativeWind setup. We're going to use the root and a media call over here to grab the dark mode. So this is how you can actually assign different variables to your themes. This root is the original default theme of the app, and then we are saying if it's a dark theme, and then the same variables will have a different color over here. And for the Tailwind CSS to recognize these, we are going to have to go to Tailwind config.js file, and there we are going to add those to this extend part over here of the theme. We're gonna assign these colors, which are basically grabbing those variables, background, foreground, and primary from the global, and then kind of assigning those to these NativeWind or Tailwind style variables right now. So for example, if I go back to my dashboard over here, which is under the tabs folder index over here, now I can assign classes here. So first of all, for example, these are not theme specific, just trying to make it a little bigger, and maybe a font of bold here, just so we know the Tailwind classes are working. And then lastly, we may want to add text. Let's see, foreground over here. Foreground, yep, is this color, is the dark color for our default theme, and for dark theme it's gonna be a light color. So if I text save it over here, and then go and well, right now we have default theme, which is light theme, and then that's going to be the black color over here. If I switch, that's going to be our white color. So you can have as many as these variables you want, depending on the theme that you're defining. So normally I would suggest in a previous step we define these variables like primary, background, card, etc. for our React navigation, which we then assigned to the whole theme provider, the whole application. So I would suggest keep these kind of the same, so that when you need to make changes, the changes are more consistent. So I'll show you in a bit what I meant by that. But right now you can see that the text changes, and for example, if I want to have a different background also for the whole thing, I can do a BG background. This is not going to change anything, because the background for light theme is light, and then for dark theme is black color. So that was already what was there. But you could have different colors. Like I said, maybe for the background we can use the primary color, I don't know. So this is just up to you. So we had the dark red for the root, which was our default theme, and then that's kind of a shiny or light blue for the dark theme, and that's what you see here. So these get assigned to the screens itself, which screens and the text in there, and that's what we use Tailwind classes to kind of style those things. So, and this is it for the Tailwind styling. So like I said, you need to just add some variables in the global.css and make sure that Tailwind config file, you also let the Tailwind know these are the classes that you are going to use that are kind of have this one-on-one relationship with the variables that you defined over here. All right, now I did mention that it's a good practice to have these variables kind of similar to what you had for the theme option, and that's because for styling some elements in your application, you can't really use the Tailwind class names to style those. So for example, if we go to the checkboxes that we had here, we could have like a class name to assign a background color, for example, to these elements over here. So for example, for this checkbox, I can have a class name of BG background, which is kind of like for the dark theme. As you remember, this should be background for dark theme is dark. So right now it's light. So if I save it, you'll see that this one switched to dark, and if I go back to light, that's the color that we had. So you could do some of that with the classes, but for example, to change the color of these little radio buttons, you can't really do anything with class names because that is controlled by the checked color variable. The check color prop for this checkbox, we could we could grab my light theme. So I have my light theme and then colors, and then for example we want to assign the primary color to this radio button. So if I click on it, you can see this is the dark red, and then we can do probably a similar thing or maybe a different thing for the dark mode. So if I click on this dark mode over here, once I save it, you'll see that's getting that my light theme color. But actually for the dark mode, you probably want to use the dark mode colors, and there's actually a very good helper or utility function that you can get from React Navigation. And if we'll look over here in the documentation, that is the use theme kind of like helper, I would call it. So I can go ahead and in my profile where I had the checkboxes, I'm going to bring that over here, use theme, and then I'm going to grab different colors from that use theme for my default color, which was the dark mode, for example, over here. So I can go and do, instead of my light theme colors, I use the colors that I get from the current theme, which is the dark theme, and then assign the primary color to that. Right now, as you can see, that primary color, so if I switch, is the light blue that we had. You can do like they have different colors. So for example, we have border, notification text, we can use notification. It's this red color over here, which you can use. And now for the system over here, you can actually use the color scheme here to set up a conditional scenario. Oops. Over here, I'm gonna do color scheme. If it's equal to dark, then I'm going to use colors.notification, and then if it's a light theme, I'm going to use the primary color from my light theme. So what happens is that, oops, that was the title. I needed to change this to checked color, and then title will be still system. And so if I do system over here, since we have a dark theme right now, that's gonna get the red color, which was the colors notification. And you can, by the way, take a look at these colors if you log them in the terminal. Like here, the notification is this like kind of reddish color over here. So if I switch back to light screen, this is the dark red color, which was my light theme color primary that we had over the theme options over here. So this primary, this X color over here. So that's how you can make sure that your Tailwind classes that you had are kind of compatible or consistent with the styling that you will be using for other elements that you can't really style using Tailwind classes. So for example, you could have a notification variable also over here in this global.css and refer that basically here. You could have a similar notification, and then for the elements that you can style with Tailwind CSS, you use class of, for example, text-notification or bg-notification. But for the elements that you can't use the class names, you can just use mylighttheme.colors.notification. That's how we style these here as well. So we're almost done. The one thing that we need to take care of, the last thing that we need to take care of is, for example, if I switch to dark mode here and then I close my app and then let's say reopen it, we are not going to see the dark mode there. So it's going to go back to what we had, which was the original theme that we had selected, and that's the light mode that we have. So we need to take care of that, and in order to do that, we are going to store the user selection in the device, and for that we're going to use this async storage from Expo React Native. You can copy this to install the async storage package, and that's what we're going to use to store the user selection. And then later on when they open the app, we'll grab what they had selected and then make sure that theme is applied to the app. So first thing first, we are going to go to this profile screen over here where we are making our selection, and as we select, we want to make sure that we actually save the selected value in the async storage or the device's storage. So very easy, not so much there. I'm going to first of all import async storage over here, and just make sure it's from the exact library that we just added, and then we're going to just wait this async storage set item. I'm going to also change this to an async method, and this is how you set these this theme value to the theme variable that will be stored in the device. So if I do that, and then next time we select the theme, I'm gonna have to close and reopen the app just so that we are starting from how it would look like originally. So if I do dark here, this is now saved in the async storage, and now we need to grab that for two reasons. One, we want to assign that theme when the user reopens the app. Two, we also need to make the correct selection here based on what they have set. So the dark theme is selected now, so when they come to this screen, we need to have this radio button selected. So we're gonna take care of those two here. Firstly, to make sure that the correct selection is shown to the user when they reopen the app function, we're gonna use effect hook to get the theme that's been saved into the async storage or the device storage, and then we'll be setting the selected index, which is the way we select these the selected radio button to that theme. So since this is an async function, I'm just gonna define this get theme function over here, and I'll just get item, use the get item method from async storage to get the theme value, and make sure this is set as theme options, so it could only have these 3 variables, so that when we if the selection has been made, and then we are gonna assign that value to the selected index that we have here, and that should take care of the correct selection over here. So we have selected dark. I'm going to close the app, and we reopen the app here. We don't see the theme applied to the app, but we should see that the dark is selected over here, because that's how we have set up the code here. So it's going to get the value and then make sure the correct radio button is selected for this. So that's the first part. The second part, which is almost very similar to this, is to grab the selected theme when we load the app, and then apply that to the whole application. So for that, we're gonna look into this layout.tsx, which is our entry point, and again, using use effect hook, we are going to make sure we have these imported, and again, make sure the async storage is coming from this library over here. So we have that. This is again very similar to what we did in this file over here. What we're doing is we're calling this load theme function, grabbing the theme value, and then if there is a theme value stored in the device, we use the set color scheme from the NativeWind, and then assign that stored value to set color scheme. And then since we are also looking at the same color scheme over here, and then if that's changed, then this color scheme is going to change, and it will be applied to the app when we load it. Also, if we are changing the color theme in the app, we can also add this dependency over here, because we want to make sure that every time we change the color scheme, or the color scheme is changed, this use effect hook is called, so that we set the color scheme to that specific value over here. So with that, if I save this, you immediately will notice that now we have the dark theme over here. And if I go light theme, we have light theme over here, and then system also is light. But if I close the app right now, and then remember we had that set as dark theme, and then reopen the app, we should see the dark theme already applied. So we do see the dark theme is already applied, and the selection is also made for the system. Right now it's light, so it changes. If I go and make this a dark theme, we should see that change automatically. And then also if I close the app and then reopen it, well, if during the process the theme changes to light theme and then I open the app, we should see that we see the light theme, which that's the case here, and the selection is also at the system over here. So that should take care of everything. Just to recap, we did some theming for the navigation, and then we had to fix some theming or styling for the classes which were coming from NativeWind, and then finally we had to make sure that the user selection is stored in the device, and that we were able to grab that when they open the app, and then apply the theme that they wanted to the app as they open it. So that should be it. If you liked the video, please make sure to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to have more videos about different things related to React Native and Expo, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell as well to turn it on. And I'll see you guys later.